They took me from my home that day. I didn't know where they were taking me to. It took 2 cars to take all 8 of us, the oldest 12 and the youngest 2. They told my parents they couldn't care for us, so they were taking us into care. But they never asked us what we wanted, so I didn't think that it was fair. My little sister cried all the way to the place of our separation. I thought we'd all been arrested and we were being taken to a police station. When we arrived, we were separated, girls in one room, boys in another. My sister cried all night. She always slept with my little brother. The morning began my second separation with my older brother and 2 sisters, and all the fears racing through my mind rubbed my heart, leaving little blisters. We rode for hours, all in silence, each of us trapped in our own fears, and every now and then a quiet sniffle as one of us would wipe away their tears, until we reached the winding road that led towards an aging farm, and a man and woman approached the car, displaying smiles and feigning charm. That night I did what I couldn't stop, and by morning my bed was wet, and then began the ugly pattern that eventually would become set. I was told to go to the back of the house and from a woodpile bring a stick, and as I stood there looking at the woodpile, there wasn't one that wasn't thick. Back in the kitchen in front of his daughters, we were told to drop our pants, and after the beatings on the way to school, we listened to their taunting chants. My brother took the beating with me, was crying for being my older brother. In time I thought he wished I was not his brother, but another. I began to believe this life wasn't worth it, that I'd be better off if I died. The teachers could tell there was something wrong, but when they asked, I only lied. The next place that they sent us would be one of many along the way, but when I was moved for wetting the bed, my brother and sisters got to stay. The first time I managed to run away, I drank some booze and cut my wrists, but I only woke up in a hospital bed with my arms bandaged, my hands balled into fists. Why couldn't they have let me die? It's not like they really cared. The fact that they would not let me go is what finally left me feeling scared. I had no right to choose how I would live. I had no right to choose not to live. They would make all the choices for me and yet act like there was nothing to forgive. They moved me 28 times, from foster families to group homes to institutions, and over time it was suicide that became my strongest resolution. They had no right to hold me in a world where I wasn't wanted, where the images of my family members were the ghosts that left me haunted. I often wondered what crime I'd committed to be sentenced to this hell. I often wondered why no one asked me for the truths that I could tell. But I wrote them down anyway, even if there was no one left to hear. Perhaps one day someone would listen to my story and understand my fear. The last place they took me was in the country, a little cabin amongst the trees. I nailed a board and hung the rope, put it around my neck and fell to my knees. And then I let the darkness take me to a place far from my pain. I left a note for my brother that I had tried, but I tried in vain. Once I was a boy of 4, a Métis son with a family history. I knew where I came from and where I was going. My life was not an unknown mystery, until the child takers came and pulled me into an endless journey of the unwanted. I hope the images taken of my death leave those who stole me forever haunted.